Well, I'm sure it gives you a pretty good perspective of how the Catholic Church is in the world. What is your perception of the Church globally?
It's interesting because I've been at the service of 4 popes. I started with Paul VI, and I had a long time with John Paul II, Benedict, and I am with Pope Francis. And of course, having this rather big responsibility, in the United States, as I had before in Mexico, which is also a huge church, You are able to see the trends of the church. In my opinion, the best analysis of the situations today comes from the documents of Pope Francis, He has such a depth of a vision of what's going on in the world, and what's going on is basically a kind of what we call the new epoch, a new moment, which is characterized by, which in line with what we call the postmodernity, a kind of fragmentation of the society, but also the individualization of people, the isolation of people. So this new epoch, this new moment, this new create a kind of crisis of transmission of the values between one generation to the other. In most of the society before, the transmission was made through the society, the church, the school, but it seems that the parents today have a great difficulty to transmit what they want to transmit to their children. They don't receive it, and the same with the teachers, the same with the politicians, the same with the priests. We are all lost, and why we are lost? Because we also live in a society which has lost its references. And actually many people don't know what to say to their children. Many professors don't know what to teach to their students. So they are lost. And because they are lost, the receivers, the children, the young people, are not convinced. Because they will be convinced if we are true witness, and if we live what we believe. As far as we don't actually live fully what we believe, we are not credible. And this is the crisis of the society. And nobody can be educated by himself. Education is the transmission of a tradition through a witness. And the educator should be a master, should be somebody who has enough authority, not to impose, but to propose. But if you are not convinced, you are unable to propose. And this is the crisis of this society. The problem is that this crisis affects principally the church, because this is our job. Our job is precisely to educate, and to educate properly, not just to teach a technique. Now we are very good, to teach a young man or a young woman, even children, to touch the computer, and they are expert for that. But I don't think we are as expert for that to educate how to live and to share our values, because we have no values to share anymore. Or the values at times are invented, This is, for example, the story of the human rights.
Well, then it's self-perpetuating, because then if I don't teach my children, then they don't teach their children.
Exactly. And that's what I think the Holy Father says in his documents, especially the first one, on the joy of the gospel. He said, we are already in the second generation of people who have not been educated properly. They think that they are educated, but not, they are. So if they are not being educated, they are unable to educate. Or their education will be limited, kind of relativism, which is mainly the new philosophy of the world we live. But if you live in a relativistic society, there are no foundations. It's like a house built without foundations. It crumbles.